Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy!
Hey folks, welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast. We are at episode 190. Bill, what do you got floating in front of your face?
I got a little Pump 5 sticker.
Pump 5. And the reason he has that sticker is we are going to be later on having our guest on tonight, and it's Todd Barnett from Pump 5. He is the front man and just an all-around good guy and funny. I mean, you're going to love this interview. It's a real good interview. And
I'm going to love it too. Once I get around to watching it.
Because Alan actually
banned
not
Alan.
there.
We banned Alan from any interviews.
Actually, Alan had no internet. We had, for the guy who records the show and does all the tech work, his internet was down for almost a
Well,
12?
the thing is there was an outage, a system-wide, I shouldn't say system-wide, but WOW, from what I understand, something got cut up in northern Indiana, and it affected almost all of the Evansville customers, a good portion of southern Michigan, and a good portion of northeastern Ohio.
Wow.
So by the time I went to bed last night, I still didn't have internet. I didn't have internet till I got up this morning.
So it must have been the WOW umbilical cord.
But Newberg had it, so I don't know. And I'm on WOW.
It was probably coming back in stages. So
probably.
But regardless, I'm here now.
Either way. So anyway, we got a few things that we're going to talk about today. As far as news-wise, Alan, you want to start out?
About the only thing that I really have is, as of today, 7 days to the Kiss Cruise. I might be a little bit excited. Anybody that follows me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook is fucking tired of my countdown, but fuck you. You got 6 more days to go.
Actually, I'm tired of the countdown only because I'm jealous. And I wasn't really jealous before, but as it gets closer, I'm like, God damn it.
Kelly said the other night.
And I hope you have a great time. I cannot wait for the show when you get back so that we can talk about it. You can tell us all about all the cool stuff you did and hanging out with all the cool peeps.
I have about 20 or 25 or so interviews with Kiss fans, and it's basically going to be the questions can all be answered in like 2 minutes, unless somebody just really wants to talk a lot. But I don't think that's going to be a problem because Dennis won't be on the boat.
Is Jeff going?
Which Jeff?
Rogers.
Jeff Rogers. It seems to me that I asked him a while back, and I don't think he's going to be on this one.
Well, no, because he spent $1 million last year.
He's still paying off the one where he bought all of those guitars.
Yeah, last year was like, dude, you're married now?
Yeah.
That's cool.
But other than that, Mitch Stefan did an interview with Bob Kulick, and it was released earlier this week. And he brought something up at the very beginning of his episode that I thought was dead on. And it doesn't affect us as much as it does the other guys because Blabbermouth and those don't pay any attention to us because we're small potatoes. But anyway, Mitch brought up to the point that a lot of these places like Blabbermouth, Ultimate Classic Rock, the ones who get a lot of traffic, they basically tell a few details about whatever the interview was or whatever, but don't link to the content. So in a sense, they are stealing the content, if you will.
Stealing the content, yeah.
So he brought up a good point. If you're going to reference my podcast or Talk to Me podcast or the Mitch Stefan podcast or Decibel Geek, whatever podcast you're referencing, if you're going to reference a specific interview, be courteous and put the link to that episode on your page.
Yeah, sure. I agree.
Yeah. I agree too.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Well, that's just common courtesy.
Well, it is a common courtesy, but I mean, in today's day and age, people steal a picture, make a meme out of it, and not credit whoever the photographer is,
Right.
or steal music off the internet, not pay the artist, whatever. It's and Mitch said that himself. It's the same. It's the same concept. Have a little courtesy.
Sure. I agree with that 100%. Just common courtesy. Bill, you got anything for this week? Any news-wise? Talk about anything?
Well, I do have a speech impediment.
Well, I can't help you with that.
I know. I do have an album acquisition.
Cool.
It's actually from afar. So, my dad and my sister are at St. Augustine at the amphitheater there. A couple times a year they have a big record show. So I follow that. So I got this message on like Thursday that said big record show this weekend, St. Augustine Amphitheater. And I'm like, so I sent it to both my dad and my sister. I went, so you guys got something to do on Sunday starting about 10. In case you didn't know it, here it is.
Here's my list.
Oh, and here's my list. Actually they went while I was at church. My phone's blowing up my pocket. It's just like the entire time.
God was calling you.
Yeah, God was calling me. It wasn't God, but anyway, so I sent them this list, and the last thing I added to the list, I just off the cuff, and the first email I got, or first text message I got when I got to looking at it was a record that my sister wanted to know if I wanted. So I did say yes, and this is what she got me.
Wow.
Can you see it?
Yes, Warren. That's good.
Pull it back. Pull it back and pull it to your right a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
There you go.
Perfect.
There you go.
How about
Perfect.
if I pull it out and in really fast, and occasionally get really a lot faster and then slow down? Does that help, or does that make it worse?
So the people who can't see the picture, why don't you tell them what it is?
Yeah, it's Warrant's "Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich," which is
awesome.
an incredible record. And so it's a little pricey, but it was not much more. It was only a couple bucks more than what it's available on Discogs and some stuff like that. So I got there was a couple other things I think they found, but I don't know what else they got. But my dad kept sending me Jan and Dean records because they had the Wrecking Crew on them. He goes, "They have this really cool band." I'm like, "Yeah, I know who the band is, Dad. It's the Wrecking Crew." He goes, "Yeah, but I bought it for you, so you'd have a thing with a band." I said, "Yeah, I know. I've got another one that you already sent me. So just slow down there, Hot Rod."
There's about a bajillion albums with Wrecking Crew on them.
I believe it's easier to
in
count
the
the
60s and
albums.
70s.
I believe it's easier to count the albums that the Wrecking Crew are not on.
I think you're right about that. But I do want to give a shout out. So I met a lady at a conference I was at last week, and we were talking about music, stuff like that. And I told her about the podcast. So she sent me an email tonight, 5:30. I got it, and it says, "It was a pleasure meeting you at the Canopy Summit last week. I looked up your podcast. Nice job on a 5.0 rating. I must say it's very well produced. I noticed your most recent episode, you were interviewing Gary Corbett from KISS. An old friend of mine was the former president and co-owner of the KISS, it says hockey team, I think she meant football, down in LA a few years ago. Said they were awesome to work with. So, and if you're listening to this, I will be reaching out to you soon to see about talking to your friend that used to be the former co-owner and president of the LA football team. So we'll see what that happens. Anyway, it's kind of cool. It's nice that you talk to people and you get out. And I didn't have a business card with me to save my life, but maybe I did. I did have a couple, but not very many. But anyway, I left it. They all exploded in the back of my car when I was driving it. They were in a rubber band, and when I went to get out, they were all over the car. So
gotcha. Okay.
Anyway, but we did have a fun interview this week. That interview was badass. So it was a lot of fun. That dude's cool, and Alan has given up. He's done. He's walking away. And
okay, I got a couple things here real quick. Actually, I'll just do my acquisitions
because he doesn't care about that.
Because he don't give a fuck. So
anyway. He's bored out of his skull.
So I bought two this week. I've been so busy. I've worked my butt off. And I just haven't had a chance to go to the store, but I went up to Trader Baker's. This has been there forever, and she actually put it on sale finally for $8. It is Bay City Rollers' first album, and it's in really, really, really good shape. Got Saturday Night on it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking break down, and I'm gonna buy it. So I bought
how much was it on sale for?
For $8. It was originally $10, but it's in pristine shape. It's the original thing. And then she also had for $6.50 the double album Barry Manilow's Greatest Hits, and I was like, yeah, I don't have a Manilow album, so this is my first Manilow album. So anyway, and it's the
I have a
greatest
stack
hit.
of Manilow CDs on my
Alan,
desk at work.
Alan, is he allowed to be on this show anymore?
Yeah, I
Well,
can.
have I told you guys my Manilow story at work?
I
No.
think you did, but
Well, maybe it's been a while.
yeah, it's been a while.
It's probably been an episode or two ago.
Yeah, you bought because you bought whenever they had the sale at the library, right?
At the Friends of the Library, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, since Bill doesn't have a business card, I'll show you the business card I'm taking on the cruise.
Right.
Cool.
And it's got your radio station.
My radio
on it.
show on the other side, so yeah.
That's cool.
I better put some content on the other website before we get there.
Might be a good
Okay,
idea.
so I had just a real couple before we get to Steven. I got a couple things here I want to talk about. Frankie Banali from Quiet Riot. He announced this week that he is dealing with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. I guess I read today where his doctors have cleared him to perform in 2020, so he's going to go back out. He's a fighter, and he's got a ton of fans who are sending him all kinds of good vibes. So, you know what? I did look on. I know that there was one article that I read. You know, the American Cancer Society said a 5-year survival rate's 9%. But you know, there's that 9%, and you know, he is a fighter, so we hope that he does well, and hope that he's had a lot of treatment, and hopefully that this will work out for him, because we don't want to see anybody dealing with stuff like that.
I got news for you. If you want to see Frankie with Quiet Riot, you better go.
Yeah, go. Anyway, but he is playing. I think he's going to go starting out the Whiskey a Go-Go. They're going to start. I think it's his first show that he's going to be playing now that he's come out and did all this stuff. On the flip side, Eddie Van Halen. You know, we heard just a couple of weeks ago that he was dire knee. You know, there was all this speculation and everything. Well, he's popping up all over the damn place. He was at a car dealership. He was at the Tool concert. He's been around, so he's actually out and about. I mean, I think he is getting treatment for his throat cancer, you know, in Germany or whatever it was, but he's not as bad shape as everybody thought he was, and so it's good to see him out. Real quick, this Nikki Sixx fight that he's going on with Steel Panther, it's just the funniest shit ever.
Michael Starr.
Yeah, with Michael Starr. It's just funny as hell. Here's my thing for Nikki. You know what? I tell you what. The only way Nikki now can be newsworthy is basically starting a Twitter fight and starting an internet fight with somebody who said something. Nikki, you know what? If you want to make some news, why don't you actually get a band together, write some good music, do something for charity, you know, save a burning baby from a building, or a baby from a burning building. burning baby from a building, whatever you got to do. You know what? There's other ways to make news and other ways to get your name out there. But you know, starting fights with people is to. The last thing I had to was I'm looking forward to seeing
before you get to
we got to talk about the burning babies.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to talk about the burning babies. I just want to go on record as saying that I think that this Twitter war with Michael Starr, you know, those guys are all in on that shit together. We're all going to get some attention out of this.
Done. Yeah.
Exactly.
We're all going to win.
It's just funny. I mean,
except for when he dogs on Gene Simmons, we know that's real serious.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and I don't understand that, but you know, hey, whatever.
He does that stuff. And the other thing, you know, going back real quick to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I mentioned this to you guys, I really hope that Judas gets in, and I would love to see one more time Judas Priest playing on stage with Glenn and KK. I think that would be, and I hope that happens if they get inducted into the Hall of Fame. I hope that I know Glenn has had issues playing, but they can play one song. You know what I'm saying? He can play an easy, you know, something that's not too difficult for him to play, and get KK up there and just, you know what, for the fans, play one more song together. And that's what I got for the week.
Yeah, I think we made a mistake last week too, because we were talking about that, and I think somebody mentioned that Motley Crue had the most votes, and they were still there, but they're done. That's done. The nominees are out. There are no more nominees. They did not make it. I heard that on two different
really?
news outlets that they did not make it. They got the most votes by far, but they did not
They
make
didn't
it.
get nominated.
So the nominees that are out are the nominees.
So they didn't add any more.
They didn't.
The fan
Yeah.
base didn't help. Okay,
No.
well, that's good. Well, good.
So
Then, Nikki,
apparently
guess
not.
What? Guess what? Michael Starr's got one more thing to say. Guess what? You're not going in this
Well,
year.
I got news for you. I'm pretty confident that Motley Crue's going to get in. And
They'll
I'm
get
pretty
in.
confident that Steel Panther's not. And I like Steel Panther. I think I think the music's good, and I'm fine with those guys. I think they're funny, but yeah,
That's their whole thing. That they're
pretty sure they're not gonna make it.
No, they're not going to get in the Hall of Fame. But anyway, and Motley Crue, they deserve it at some
Yeah,
point.
they do. I mean, really, come on.
But anyway, it's funny. But
They
anyway,
have to throw a movie on Netflix, for God's sakes.
I really do want to see KK and Glenn one more time playing, even if it's on video. You know what I'm saying? I think it would be a cool thing to see them one more time play.
Yeah.
All right. With that, if anybody doesn't have anything else, I already showed the albums, Alan. You missed it, so I guess you'll have to watch the show whenever it
Didn't
comes.
miss it, bro.
You didn't miss
I
much.
swear to God. You didn't miss a damn thing. Actually, I should have left too.
All right. I'm going to have more. Actually, I'm going to have a Pump 5 album the next time we talk because I ordered one last night from Steven. So anyway, so speaking of which, let's go to Steven Todd Barnett from Pump 5. All right. Hey, we're here with Steven Todd Barnett. How you doing today, brother?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
All right.
Well, it's a hell of a lot sunnier there than it is here.
Exactly.
Hey, man, it's like 92 or 93 right now here.
Man.
Not even
Well,
kidding.
That's
fall has set in Indiana.
So this is fall weather here too.
Oh, shut up.
You suck. All right.
I'm leaving.
Exactly.
Oh, that's it. I quit. Fuck you guys.
All right.
You're assholes.
So anyway, for people who do not know, Steven is with a band called Pump 5, and I honestly had never heard of this band either until we were at the Rockin' Pod this summer, and Steven came around to our table, and Bill sat down did a real short interview, but I was standing there as you guys were doing this interview and was listening to Steven talk, and he's an infectious person. You can tell he is a front man, number one. And I mean infectious in a good way.
Yeah, I'm not infected.
Exactly.
I was going to say, did you pick something up off that mic? Because I was like, it was like
an infectious personality. There you go.
I turn around, I walk away. You're Lysoling everything where it was.
like the dude's from California. He's a surfer dude and a rocker.
Right.
Let's go. We got to clean this shit off.
So Bill did a very short interview with Steven at Rockin' Pod 3, and before he left, he said, hey, here's my CD. And I took the CD like I did most other CDs that I got, and I threw it in my swag bag. And we were talking about whenever I think Bill asked you at that point, what does your music sound like? You said it's kind of a Blink 182 plus. It's it's rock and it's good stuff, And I'm like, so I threw it in my bag. And it was like about 3 weeks later, I got home and I'm going through the bag and a jillion koozies that we brought back from home. And I'm like going, oh, there's that disc that we got. And, I always listen to every disc that I get or tape or what have you. And usually they get a once through and then they go to the side and they just kind of pile up.
Right.
I went to work and I threw this in my car and it stayed in my car for about 2 weeks. And I listened to it every day. And I was like, what an amazing find. And I was like, and the thing is, you're like the best drug dealer in the world because you gave me this for free and now I want more and I want to buy.
Good news.
Exactly.
I got plenty where that came from.
I want vinyl though. I like vinyl, so there you go.
We have vinyl. We have a limited edition vinyl, which was a mistake. So it's a sleeve that's non-printed, right. And there's only 50 units of it. And I think I got like 30 some units of that left. I've been kind of being careful with that. And then of course we have full color sleeve vinyl, but which is, to me, I like the one that's not printed because, well, right. It's different. That's all. But the vinyl, I'm not going to shit you. So you have to do, I don't know, people didn't realize, and even I don't realize when we did it, you have to send another mix from the studio for vinyl because digital has a high bass and high highs, and those make the needle jump off of the vinyl, from what I'm told. So you have to dole the top off, roll the top back and the bottom back in order. So we have a vinyl mix. I'm not kidding you. It sounds better than the disc, the digital mix. The vinyl sounds better than the digital mix. And I couldn't believe that. Like, you can hear everything, all the instruments. It's different. It's better. If you can believe that.
I believe that. Vinyl is, we actually, Dennis and I,
Alan does
have really kind of gotten back into collecting vinyl and some of that stuff. So, it's kind of funny. I've told the story before. I started again because my son at the time at the time was 15, or 14, found my turntable in the bottom of his closet and went, "Hey, what's this?" So he plugged it in and we listened to, I had an AC/DC record still. So he listened to it and he goes, "Sounds kind of scratchy." And I said, "But listen to it. It sounds so," and then I said, "Now listen to your your MP3." And he listened to that and I go, "Which one do you think sounds bigger?" And he goes, "Oh, the record." And I'm like, "Yeah, because you're not squashing that shit. It's big and you get all of it." And so, yeah, I definitely listen to quite a bit of vinyl anymore.
Yeah, it's so I'm very stoked. But yeah, I know where you could buy vinyl for Pump Fives. If you just let me know, bro.
We will talk. We will talk after the interview, and then
I know a guy.
You know a guy. At the end of this interview, you can pump all your Pump 5 stuff that you want to.
You mean pump5band.com?
You can pump all of your, exactly.
Starting early.
Yeah.
So when you and I talked, though, it was kind of cool because we met. You were setting up your table, and I had come by and was just kind of checking your stuff out. You kind of walked up, and we talked about T-shirts. You remember that?
I do.
We were talking about T-shirts and giving away T-shirts and all that kind of stuff. It was a really cool conversation. And I knew then, I went back and told the guys, I said, "This dude over here is from California. He came all this way from California to be at this event. And he's got some music over there that we got to check out sometime. And hopefully he'll cruise by and be on the show." So it was pretty cool. I mean, that's the thing about going to that event. I know it was the first time for you. It was our third time, but we've really been open to some new stuff going to those, and then just meeting some new people and some new friends. Actually, I'm sitting here with my my Pump 5 sticker that I brought back.
Look at that.
Oh,
and my I think I've got a Pump 5 guitar pick.
I believe that's my personal pick.
I think it is. It's got chew marks. No, I'm just kidding.
DNA.
But DNA. It's got DNA
all over it.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it. It's just making those connections, which is really cool. That's a cool thing for us.
I take every opportunity because, well, first of all, I love music. I love other bands, and when I get opportunities, I'll do whatever I got to do. But the Rocket Pod 3, I was like, "Oh, this is great." Like, I called my band from there. I'm like, I had bad service inside there for whatever reason. I couldn't get Wi-Fi, but I stepped out and called those guys. I'm like, "Man, this is great." It's like, everybody's here is cool. I'm going to do every interview I can. They're like, "Cool." And, we got some good feedback off of that. But you guys, playing the record in your car for 2 weeks, I mean, that's exactly why I went there. If only one dude did it, I won. You know what I mean? The band's stoked. Now we're like, comrades, and hopefully I get to see you on the next year. I mean, hopefully they invite me back there, and I'm going to bring it different. I'm going to try to bring the band, and maybe we do the night before, maybe get to play. I'm going to shoot for.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Now, were you there the night before?
I was. But you know what? Here's the irony. I thought, don't ask me why. I was in the hotel. I thought the event was at another building.
Oh.
I downstairs and even look like simply a crackhead, but I'm not. So I was like bummed out when I found out.
Yeah, you missed an incredible show.
It was really good. Yeah.
That's what everyone said. Everyone said.
Yeah, it was really good.
So let's talk about Pump 5. I mean, you gave me this. This was out in what, 2017? When this came out?
Yeah, right. It was released by us. Then we came out very limited, and then we did it on High Vol Records.
Okay.
So it came out on High Vol in April of this year.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So it actually on High Vol was April, so 8 months.
Okay, but you had a previous album too called Tour. What was it, in 2004?
Yeah, we've
Okay.
had a few.
Okay.
What we have had is multiple demos. That's what they really come out to.
Gotcha.
We just didn't release them. I mean, we're at over, the band is at over a couple hundred songs. So
Really?
we're like deep in writing, but our recordings are one thing that we fought. We were a live band and we were concentrating on playing live. And I switched it up a couple years ago, and we're concentrating on record. And we have a deal working right now. I was hoping I was going to have the contract signed so I could talk to you about it, but it didn't happen. And I know we're going to talk again. But so there's new music coming and new touring coming. Maybe even possibly at the end of the year, but most likely it's going to be the first quarter. We're going to get to go out in the winter. I'm pretty stoked about that. So.
Are you coming to the Midwest in the winter? Or are you staying over there on the West Coast?
No, I'm a Midwest. They want to run us the new deal that we're working. They want to run the West Coast a lot, which is great. I love the West Coast. It's my home, but the Midwest is very open-minded to bands. They don't have to know you. They want, if you're good, they're gonna say, hey, you're good. If you're bad, they're gonna tell you eat a bag of dicks. You know what I mean? So, which is good. That's how I am. You know what I mean? And so I love that about the Midwest and Canada, the East. You get all the way. Anytime you're on the coast, they get a little prickly. You know what I mean? But that's all right. Those people. But I'm really a Midwest. I love the Midwest. I was born in the Midwest, so maybe that's a connection. So
cool. So you were talking about. So you guys have been in when you and I spoke at the table. You were talking about that you've been playing for a long time, and you've been in a lot of different bands, and all the guys in the band have been around the music industry for quite a while. Can you talk a little bit about that and where you guys have been?
So Andre Bonter, my drummer, was in a band called Poor Boys, which was on Hollywood Records. They did really well. Dennis Hill, was also in Lefty and is in Face to Face now. Any of those bands, but Andre, they toured for years and years. They had some good success. Probably, they're arena tours. So I've never arena toured, but I was in Ask Alice, which is actually a band that got picked back up 25 years later, 20 years later kind of thing, and re-released. And I'm still actually getting residuals right now off of a record that they came back and picked up, and it's doing well in like small places like, in Japan, and it's pretty cool. So Drew, my bass player, came from lots of local bands, and I think we've had, God, I don't want to exaggerate, but I think we've had like 5 record deals. So record deals literally mean nothing. You got to get lucky. They really don't.
Right.
They got to get lucky with the right company that believes in you, and that's behind you. Because at the end of the day, right in this day and age, you can do it more on your own if you're committed with a little bit of money. And I've been lucky in business and made a little money. So, yeah, man, we've come from everything you can imagine. I could tell you stories for days about some of the people that have come up with us and gone on. Without dropping names, it's not really. I try not to do it, but it's kind of weird. All the people we came up with, because I never quit. I've done it my entire life. You guys, everybody's been in bands in high school, and some make it to the 20s, but then, you get married or move on. Well, if it's really your life, you don't do that. If you're what we call lifer, you're doing it because you love the fucking music. Because if you don't love music, this is not the right fucking industry to be in. Because if you think you're going to get fucking rich, just go back and start selling crack on the fucking corner again.
You're going to get
way more money.
Yeah, you're going to get eaten up. If you're, like I said, this business will eat you up alive.
I paid my way out there to the Rocket Pod 3. They invited me. They go, hey, you get here. I go, you damn right. I didn't know exactly how I was going to get there, but I committed first and fucking figured it out second.
Right.
And was stoked. You know what I mean? So, hey, music is a way of life. And a true way of life, and that's what we all are. That's why live is a great thing for us. It comes across live, and then of course the fact that we're writers, I always say, when you're dead, they don't play a video of you live. They throw in your record. And I'm like, let's make a great fucking record. And,
there you go.
Then when they fit you for your fucking wood suit, you can smile.
Well, it sounds like to me though, the way you talk, that you've got the material now. It's just a matter of, and you've honed it and everything. It's just a matter of now getting it out on and to the public.
I think honestly, not to be bragging, but we've always had the material.
Right.
I definitely think honing it is a great way to say it, because that is what it is. So everybody has a little formula for recording, and not all of them work, because I can tell you a bunch of them that fucking don't. All right, but we found a formula that does work. Dennis Hill, great fucking producer, and if people, that's the other thing I learned. To think that you don't need a producer, I think that's, for me anyway, you got to have a fucking producer, a good one, and they're valuable, because if you have a producer that jives with you, which is very important, because most don't, or some don't, you can put out shit, and you can also put out fucking, you could take you could take a song. I have a 10% rule. Ready? So I'll give you the basis for that. When I write an idea, I try to make it 10% better 10 times. 100% better when I'm done, right? That's virtually impossible, but it's a great goal to set, right? So when a producer comes in and adds to that, right? It's like shooting a video. You never shoot a video to a song unless it makes it 10% better. Because if it doesn't, fucking scrap the video.
Right.
And that's happened to us. We actually threw away 2 videos on this record, and it was very unfortunate because one of them was so close to being killer, and but we got 1 video out of it at the moment. But I think that there are going to be more videos coming. So basically just falling back to honing your craft. That includes all facets from writing to video.
And that's something we've talked about in one of our favorite bands, the name right behind Bill's head right there. They're into self-producing themselves, and what happens in their last few albums? They're just, you gotta have somebody there to basically at some point have the balls to say, you know what, that doesn't sound good, or it sounds like
garbage.
Shit. That's garbage. But I got an idea that might help it fix. We might fix it, because just an outside opinion at some point, because you get 4 guys in here that think they're writing the greatest songs in the world, and if they're cranking out shit, they don't know it's shit.
Well, at the end of the day, when you get to that level, they're like, fuck it, they'll buy anything we give them.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's when, honestly, I'm not going to say they are, because I don't know personally, but I know a lot of people in this business that have been around that are kind of stuck in it, that don't give a fuck about it, but there's nothing else they're going to be able to do. A lot of people. I tour with a lot of bands like that. Like I'm not going to say who, but if they'll go on stage, and if the crowd is, say, under 200, they cut the set before they ever hit the stage.
That's
they
bullshit.
Because they don't give a fuck. Like, fuck this, or they'll get the manager will come, the road manager come and give the nod on the side of the stage in song 3, meaning we got paid. All of a sudden, they cut 4 songs out of the set. They've been paid.
Right.
It's
wow.
bullshit.
That's pretty shitty.
Well, it's pretty common because this is a brutal fucking industry.
Right.
And once again, we go back to, if you don't love this shit at its core, go back and ask your gas station job back, and that's a fucking fact.
So how different is it today than it was 30 years ago?
Way different. And number one is 30 years ago, if you hit 29 years old and you weren't famous, you were done. And that's no shit. You couldn't be in your 30s. If you were, you had to lie. Why that was, I'm not really sure. And of course, then it was major labels. There were no indies. And there were subsidiaries, but very few, and they were usually started by the artist. And, and they were imprints of the majors. Now, it's just the opposite. There's only indies with a few majors actually left. And everybody fell back on older music because back when video killed the radio star and internet killed the rock star. That's fucking what I believe, because video killed the, radio star. You don't have to listen. You want to see it, right? The internet, let's just make an example. If you, John Doe, decide to write a song on Tuesday, and then you record it on Wednesday, and you have 1 million followers on Instagram, you release it on Thursday, guess what? 1 million people just heard your song in 3 days, and you put no life effort into it. What the fuck? I mean, that's bullshit. Fucking bullshit, right? I mean, right. I put my entire life in this fucking shit. And so did millions, thousands of others, right. And so that's the difference. The internet is the major difference between 30 years ago and now. Because anyone truly with 1 million followers can be an instant rock star. Instant.
Well, and it goes back to what you were saying earlier, and we both talked about, like you said, that 3-day rule. When somebody, like say, a Miley Cyrus or whatever, can basically just write a couple of words down, get some guys to throw together a tune and throw it out there. She has 1 million people that are more than that's just going to buy it up because it's something from her. She hasn't right. She hasn't went out and played it. She hasn't honed it. She hasn't worked with it. She hasn't put any personal feeling into this thing. That's one thing I noticed about these songs on here. You can tell there's stories behind every song on this album.
Absolutely, brother.
And you can tell it. You can tell it in your voice. That's one thing. I love your voice. I think the way you sing is really good, and just the way these songs are put together. They got great hooks. The lyrics, and a lot of times I'll listen to a song and I'll great tune, but I don't really listen to the words. And then this is one thing that I did. I found myself and then I'm sitting there going, man, I wonder what he's talking. What was the reasoning behind this song? So it makes you think.
The vinyl has the lyrics printed on it. I was so fucked.
That's awesome.
I couldn't wait to smoke a fat fucking joint like I was 18 and fucking to crank it up and fucking read my own lyrics. Fuck, I got high and I couldn't even see them because I'm fucking old. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck, man, I wanted it to be way better than it was, dude. In my mind, it was so bitching, but it really wasn't.
You had high hopes for it, though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I did. Man, dude, it was... It was like sunflowers and a bunch of ashes when I fucking in reality. But yeah, you know what I mean? I think the lyrics are great. I love it when they're metaphoric. When you can apply it. Mm-hmm. I can tell you a lot of stories, but we have people get married to some of our music. Things like that are like to me, and then they tell me what the song's about, and it's honestly nothing what I wrote it about. But wow. I never ever go, oh yeah, that's not what it's about. I went, you're kidding me. That's brilliant. Because wow. It's definitely, you have to be able to apply music to your life. I think that makes that a successful song. In whatever format, whether it's audio or visual or, lyrically.
Well, I mean, and people, that's the great thing about music and lyrics itself. Everybody hears it, and when you listen to it, you form your own opinion, your own image, your own. Like I said, when Sting wrote, "Every Breath You Take," it was a stalker song, but it's been a love song for millions of people. It's like, oh my God, you love me that much? No, really don't. I'm stalking your ass.
Yeah, that just happened the other day on a commercial. Oh, they used just the chorus. I forget what it was. They used the chorus, and it was fucking a breakup song, and it was. And they used it for a happy fucking product. And my girls looks at me and she says, "What the fuck?" She said, "That song's about breaking up." I was like, "Well,
go back."
So, Stephen, who were some of your influences?
Well, my parents were listening to country, never forced it on me. So, I mean, I had some old country influences, but I grew up metal, Iron Maiden when I was young, and of course, when I got, I loved Blackfoot and Black Oak, Arkansas, and Robin Trower, A Bridge of Sighs Today is still one of the greatest.
Great song.
Yeah, of course Zeppelin, and I was a big Beatles fan because the Beatles came later for me. It was all about the songwriting. And that's when I realized only three things fucking matter: the song, and the song. And once I realized that changed my life. And, there's no one much better than them. But yeah, Cheap Trick is a huge influence in my life as well. But I listen to talk radio during the day.
Do you really?
I do. I do, man. I do. I fucking do, man. But the music that shaped me is definitely, I liked everything. Southern rock was a big influence to me. Fucking, of course, Leonard Skinner, but Marshall Tucker was real big. The Marshall Tucker band was big to me.
Yeah,
and,
you said you were from the Midwest originally, right?
Yeah, Kansas.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I left very young, 15. I was on tour when I was young, and then I started touring out of state when in my 13, 14, and then when I was 15, I pretty much never went back, other than to change out some of the clothes that could walk on their own. But by 17, I was gone for good from there. I did Texas in search of this singer, Casey Lee Michaels. Still remember the dude's name. We were forming the next Motley Crue, you know what I mean, kind of thing. Right when Motley Crue was actually coming out. That's how old I am. So, but we chased this guy and we found him in Indianapolis, Indiana. Of course, it didn't work out because it was kind of like the lyric sheet, right? Would have been cool when it just didn't exactly work out. But that's all good. That created another band, and that band toured to California. And the entire band's still here, other than one of the members who just didn't make it, who actually became quite famous in the underground. But he just couldn't deal with life. So, but yeah, we all came here, and we're all going to die here. And one of them already has.
Cool. I actually live about 30 miles south of Indianapolis.
Oh, sweet.
So I'm up there
and I'm
all the time.
You know where Noblesville is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, well, that's what my girlfriend just moved there. From.
Yeah,
wow.
We go up there to Concert Slot, the old Deer Creek place up there. Yeah.
The outdoor venue?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just went there. Actually, we went 2 weeks in a row. We saw, who did I see? I saw Iron Maiden, and then I saw Kiss the next week. It's like, that was a great 2 weeks.
Right across, what's funny is the apartment's across the street, directly across the street. Right. That's where I was at at that Iron Maiden concert.
Really? Oh. Wow. We were over at Sleepy Bear Campground drinking beer, and then we went across there. That's our secret spot we go park at.
Yeah, my girlfriend's a Grateful Dead kind of hippie chick, fish chick, and they came over there while we were there too, and that was a wild event.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, man, that's hilarious, man. Yeah. What is that? The Rail Center? What's that called?
Well, Ruoff. It's called Ruoff Homes. Yeah.
It changed its names.
It's been Verizon. It's been Klipsch. It started as Deer Creek. Though.
I always call it Deer Creek.
A little creek there. Yeah. It's like every venue, right? It'll be that way forever.
Until somebody pays another $1 million or something. Change the name. But we're all Southern Indiana people, so that's where we've been.
Cool, man. All good people up there, man. All good people, man. I was touring when I met my girlfriend in Indy, so.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, cool. On tour, yeah.
You guys get out next year, you're definitely going to have to hit Indiana then, so we'll definitely.
Oh, I know it's yeah, man. Awesome. I wish I could give some kind of, concrete. But I can't.
When you're ready,
you're welcome to
call
always
Dennis
come back,
and we'll get you back. Yeah,
we'll get you back on, and we'll get you
because the things that this business is all about promising the world. Right. That's what they do. So I learned a long time ago: keep your mouth shut until the contracts is
until it's written on paper.
Well, even doing this podcast, we've done that before. When we get a guest lined up, until that son of a bitch is recorded. And it's on the hard drive. We don't mention a word because the first time you mention it, it's gonna fuck you in the butt.
Straight up, dude. Because at the end of the day, dude, that's a fact.
Till it's in the can, you're done. So anyway,
brutal, dude. It's brutal. But this business is crazy. It's all about. It's made up of, paper houses.
Yeah.
It really is, dude. It really is. And it's so hard to be in the business. So it's a backstabbing business, and when we're on tour, we have a private conversation daily or every other day, the band, and we're like, we're not going to play that game. No matter what they do, no matter how this rolls, Pump 5 ain't going to be part of that bullshit. But we keep it straight up, stay out of the drama, and we're not going to lie. We're not going to say we're going to do something we're not. For money, it definitely is. Obviously, money's an issue, but that's not why we're doing it.
Right. You mentioned earlier about, too, those bands that play those 3 songs, wave off their manager, and then leave the thing because there was only 200 people there. But, what those fuckers don't realize is those 200 people paid money and are probably your biggest fans, and you just pissed them off. That's they're cutting their own throats when they do.
Well, it might be
like
the
that,
last 200 fans they have.
That's true.
You have no idea how true that is, brother. Well, you do know. But that's very true. We play with another band that has still hits on the big hits right now on the radio. They're from, 10, 15 years ago. I'm not going to say who it is, but the singer was a heroin addict. He's from the Midwest. And they were fucking lip syncing. Not kinda.
Right.
The dude was fucking not singing at all. And we did a tour. We started a tour with them.
Wow.
And they packed the joint. You want to see a crowd turn on a band when they realized he was all heroin out, walked away from the mic, and his lead vocals were cranky.
Oh, wow.
And, dude, talking about ruining a crowd that fucking mattered and hell, throwing shit.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. We pulled off because of it. Yeah. We're like, we can't be associated with, even though the band is huge.
Right.
We couldn't be associated with it. Well, hey, these boys are from Indiana, Stacy. She just walked in.
We'll tell her hi.
Hey.
She knows about orange cones and corn, right?
Yeah.
Orange barrels, orange barrels, orange barrels.
Orange barrels and cones and corn.
Well, I'm from Nolensville, which is where Ruoff Mortgage Music Center is. So
we go there all the time.
Yep.
That's awesome.
We were just talking that Iron Maiden was when I was there. Iron Maiden was playing across the street. They were there.
Yeah.
They were at the gig. I'm like, oh wow, that's wild. And I told him you were a hippie.
Oh dear.
Don't worry. Don't worry. This is only going to go out on the internet.
Yeah. And both our fans will like it. No.
She's a real hippie, so it don't matter.
Actually. So Stephen, here's a good question. So for all your mileage and all your knowledge and everything else like that, for a young man who's getting ready to start out, what's some advice you could give them on this?
Write your own music.
Right.
I mean, that's it. Start early, because everybody's doing that tribute. I don't know if you've seen it, but they're pulling 8,000 and 10,000 people, tribute bands.
Right.
They're imitating our favorite bands and going out as them and pulling 8,000 people and getting paid $5,000 and $6,000 a night.
Right.
So what would you rather do? Take the easy road? Mow the fucking lawn that's been mowed 30 times in front of you? Or take that fucking kid mower in the Midwest after your dad told you to get out there and it already rained and the shit's 2 feet deep and you fucking know it, okay? Fucking air up. Nobody wants to do it. You know why nobody wants to fucking do it? Because it's hard. But at the end of the day, you look back and you go, God damn, I did that. That's badass. That's what I would say. Fucking mow your own lawn. Get off somebody else's shit. You know what I mean? That's what I would say. And I think starting early, no one, trust me, you watch there's going to be it's about 5-10 years out. There's going to be no new music. No one's writing. No one's writing, dude.
No, you're getting music from suits, people in suits that are writing, handing you these things, and here, sing this. And you said, and that's one thing I like about Dave Grohl. He's always said too. He says, go into the garage and just make a bunch of noise. Because you never know what's going to come out of that. And the kids aren't doing that. That's the thing.
Right. On this device that I'm holding right now, I think I'm at 170 ideas that I just record all the time. Some are 15 seconds long, some are 2 minutes long. And that's what I do. I never let one go by, and then I go back and listen. Most of them I don't ever touch again, but I'll take a piece here. You ever seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Of course.
No.
Yeah. Right. You know the scene where the particles are going over the head, the
Yeah.
chick gets
TV.
Well, right. Well, that's what
Yeah.
songs are kind of to me. You just kind of reach up and grab a piece, and you grab another piece to try to make a match. And a lot of times they don't. Sometimes though, they're a perfect match. You didn't even think they would be. It's kind of like that. But I think Dave Grohl means that.
Right.
Yep.
Google, I don't know. You got to fucking songwriting is the lost art. Period. It is unbelievable what's going on right now. Yeah. I was saying that the problem with the industry we just mentioned is the tribute band and the cover, and I was outspoken against it for a while, and I had to stop and roll back because I was getting backlash from bigger people,
right?
Because they're doing it.
Well, and they're making money. I mean, they're making big money, and they don't want that to stop.
Money.
They don't want that to stop. But like you said,
Right.
it is that yard that's groomed, and you're just out there kind of, dusting it. And something else too, something else that you said too. I think it would be a good thing for younger bands too is don't get caught up in the fucking drama. You need to be honest with everybody in the band needs to be honest with each other. You don't need to be a family is hard enough to keep together, and like I said, when you're 4 people or say 4 or 5 or whatever it is in that band, and you get one sleazy bastard in there, it just fucks the whole system up. You can't do that.
It's a great point. We had our 4th guy that was with us forever, and once it didn't work out with him after many years, we hire guitar players now. We don't have a permanent member for that very reason. It's a little easier to keep the drama between the 3 of us. We're true family, literally true fucking family. Like, so you said a mouthful. Fuck, I couldn't have pulled this off 30 years ago.
Right.
I couldn't have.
Right.
Interesting.
That's cool. That is so cool. Yeah. Well, man, Steve, I tell you what, Stephen, we've had a great time talking to you, and we want to, like I said, once you get everything on your I's dotted and your T's signed, we want you back, or slashed, or whatever the hell you do with a T, but
crossed.
Crossed. There you go.
Hey, man.
He was right there.
I was almost there.
I know how you
screwed it up.
I know how you Southern Indiana fucks are. You know what I mean?
But no, like I said, but no, if whenever that does happen, because I know it will, because like I said, you guys got a good quality product out there, and I want new material. I want new material a lot.
We have it already written, man. It's like
That's
crazy,
awesome.
Dude. It's like, so we got look. There's a plan. There's a backup plan. There's a plan B to this, and if this right, go figure.
Right.
But yeah, there's a true plan B, and I'm already ready to invoke it. I'm trying to keep my mouth shut because I've been known to be a little bit of a hothead, and I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and those two things don't really work out very well in music.
No.
They don't, and that's why probably I've struggled a bit in the industry, not in the writing and not in the live, but in the industry and the relationship. I think that's probably why I've struggled. I'm learning. So if you think you can't fucking learn, there's only 2 reasons you can't learn. You don't want to, or you're fucking dead. So I'm neither.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, before we get out of here, I want you to pimp your shit. Tell me where you can get your stuff and all about that. Go for it.
Cool. So, yeah, man, pump5band.com. You can buy everything. That comes directly from the band. When you buy it from the band, that all goes back into the band. We make no money off that shit. That shit goes right back into fucking whatever we're doing. T-shirts, touring. I mean, 100%. You can go to Instagram, it's Pump5Band. Facebook, it's Pump5. And it's PUMP, the number 5, no space. PUMP, number 5, no space. And it's on all social media platforms. And
Gotcha.
you can buy everything from dildos to condoms. So, fucking come on.
Well, like I said,
that sounds like you've been working. Do you work for Gene Simmons too?
Hey,
Gene's like going,
I think Gene got that from me.
Get you coming and going.
Well, like I said, this album, like I said, was one of these ones where it was given to me by Steven, and I tell you what, I've loved it. I want everybody that listens to the show, just go it's on Spotify if you want to listen to it there to check it out, and if you like it, please go buy it. This stuff is so great, and what it reminds me of is I was a big Marvelous 3 fan, Butch Walker's band.
Wow!
And this hit me as hard as that did, and I really like this stuff. And like I said, this is actually my best, my album of 2019 that I liked the best. This is it. And I know it's not from this year, but I discovered it this year, so fuck it. This is my pick for 2019. You know.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's your that's your opportunity, man.
Yeah.
Free dildo, don't you? You want one of those free dildos, don't you?
No, I don't need to figure it out. Alan might, but but anyway, and Alan was sorry that he couldn't be here for this interview, but his internet is down. We've got some major outages and everything. But
I think
next time
we're all going to talk again. I think.
I think so.
Oh, we'll definitely, and hopefully you'll be at Rockin' Pod 4.
I hope so too.
Yeah. All right, so stay around,
Cool.
Stephen. And like I said, you can check our show out on agesofrock.com. That's where you can find everything. But we're on Spotify. We're on iHeart. We're on YouTube. We're on everywhere. So check us out.
Man, make sure you guys, after this is over, make sure I get a direct message on the link for this when it comes up, so I can pump it.
Just stay with us, and we're going to take you out. So we'll talk to you later.
Don't hang up yet.
Yeah, don't hang up. We'll talk to you later. See ya.
Okay, bye. All right, peace.
Hold on.
Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.